And let's go to the Game Time Hotline and get the very, very latest from our friend Bobby Burton of the On Texas Football Channel. I know we talk about heads on a swivel. Bobby's on the phone constantly right now, working his channels, keeping up with the portal and who's coming, who's going, but also the latest on the Longhorn legend and Longhorn great Jordan Shipley. What a surprising piece of news that was yesterday, and scary piece of news. Let's go to the Game Time Hotline. It's Bobby Burton. Bobby, good morning.
Good morning, Aaron. How you doing today?
Good. Well, and thank you for keeping me up to date with what you're hearing from the Shipley family on Jordan. Can you give our audience the latest on where it stands? I know Coach Shipley posted to Facebook in the early morning hours about Jordan and his condition. Well, what's the latest you're hearing?
I think the Shipley family should kind of speak for themselves on this, because I don't know how much they want out there. But having talked to Coach Shipley yesterday, as he was on the way to the hospital, he was clearly beat up about it, as you would think. It's a situation that's just sad. I mean, I literally was with my daughter not moments before, who's a grown woman now herself. And, just hearing that news put a stake in your heart almost. And so we're wishing nothing but the best for Jordan and his family, and Coach Shipley and his family. This is a difficult time, but if anybody can overcome it, it's going to be Jordan Shipley. And we'll see. I think that he got some good news yesterday after his first surgery, and we'll see what happens from there.
There it is. Yep. And as you said, we'll let the Shipley family speak, for they did put out a statement as a family yesterday, and Bob Shipley did put a post to his personal Facebook account overnight that you can go read on Jordan's condition, and we will continue to check that. He is critical but stable condition after an accident at his ranch. Burns are the issue yesterday afternoon. All right, Bobby, when you look at this portal situation for Texas, 5 days in now, it opened on Friday and now it's Wednesday. Longhorns have 6 additions, and I guess you could add Derek Williams as a 7th because he's coming back. Pulled his name out of the portal. How do you feel it's going so far for Steve Sarkisian and Texas in the portal pursuits?
I think it's going according to plan. I know people aren't going to believe that because they want everything done in a day as soon as the portal opens, but that's not how the portal is working this time. It's much more deliberate decision making. There are guys, for the first time since I've been doing this, that are actually going back to their schools after entering the portal. And so it's going to be a more deliberate process, I think, for Texas and for other schools as well. I personally think they've literally addressed 3 specific positions so far outside of the specialists, kicker, punter, and long snapper. They've addressed nose tackle. They wanted an over-the-ball defender. They got that out of Ian Gerfrard, young man out of Arkansas, 6'5", 380 pounds. They added a inline blocking tight end, which they wanted to do. They've got that done. Michael Masunis from Michigan State. And then yesterday, they had their number 1 corner on the board coming out of the portal was Bo Masco out of Rutgers, an honorable mention All Big Ten selection. He is on board now. He signed yesterday. So that's 3 position players they want. Now they have several more to go. So there's no doubt they have more to go. I think particularly a lot of people are wondering what they're going to do at offensive line. They're waiting on a potential Michigan transfer, and Andrew Sprague. They've got some other guys set up for visits later this week, I believe. They also have got to get some linebackers. They've brought one on campus in Christian Alliegro. He's deciding, he's a Wisconsin guy. He's deciding between Texas and Ohio State today. And then also Cade Uluave, an all-ACC performer out of Cal, is expected on campus later this week as well. And then you have the running back spot, Aaron, that has come into focus a little bit here after the transfer of Trey Wisner, and Texas is bringing in Raleek Brown, young man out of Arizona State today. He rushed for more than 1,000 yards this season for them. And so you have a lot of things going on top of guys like Cam Coleman, who are nationally rated guys, that maybe the best player in the portal at this point, a wide receiver out of Auburn. He's deciding between Texas A&M, Alabama, Texas Tech. I mean, he's got a laundry list that he's trying to get through. And then also Jaden Woods, a defensive end out of young man out of Florida that Texas thinks extraordinarily highly of, top 10 player in the portal himself.
And Jaden Woods would be a great replacement for Ethan Burke on that defensive line, and obviously over the ball knows, some size at the tight end position has come in, and then Bo Masco, the corner. Can you give us a feel on the? I think it's kind of all over the board for everybody with Cam Coleman. The Auburn side says they offered him a ton of money, so it's not about the money as much as where he's going to be and feature, showcase for the next level and whatnot. What's your read on Cam Coleman, the Auburn receiver?
Well, I absolutely think quarterback matters, and I think that because of that, Texas has an upper hand. He wants to play with a guy like Arch Manning who can get him and distribute the ball not just on crossing routes and bubble screens, but downfield. And so I do think that helps Texas's position. But this is a recruitment, and not everybody logically goes where they should go. That's just the world we live in, right? If everything was logical, it'd be nice and easy, but it's never nice and easy. And so there are other teams. A&M is certainly involved in, like Texas, they are ready to play via NIL. Same with Texas Tech. They're ready to play via NIL. Alabama's a unique one because he is from Phoenix City, Alabama. He could take an unofficial, or he could just drive to Alabama one day and take a visit. But I think this is coming down to the end of the week decision. I think it's going to be Friday, Saturday, maybe into Sunday. But he's expected at Texas Tech, I believe, either late today or tomorrow for a visit. And I think he's going to try to figure it out after that. I do believe Texas is in a really good situation right now. Are they the leaders? I would hesitate to say that based on the fact that this is the portal, and anything goes in the portal and it can change in a moment's notice. So I think that Texas feels good and is in good situation, but can't say more than that at this point.
Hey, Bobby, I was going to ask about those two guys. Raleek Brown, which it sounds like he's projected. We'll see what happens. Like you said, the portal's so crazy to come to Texas out of Arizona State. Cam Coleman would make a lot of sense from the quarterback play, but again, he's the hot name right now. Is there any other names? You listed off a ton of them, but any other names to watch out for we're not really talking about that could fill some needs, whether it's kind of lesser on the portal side of ranking, but just like the linebacker position, offensive lineman, any name that you've been seeing that could be coming to visit or just in general coming to Texas?
Yeah, absolutely. So Joe Bruner put his name in the portal yesterday. He's an offensive guard from Wisconsin. Yeah, I think 6'5", 320. I think he's going to come down to Texas and Indiana, according to published reports. I think that, Texas, a lot of people are worried about offensive line, and rightfully so. I mean, Texas needs some help along the offensive line. But if Trevor Gooseby returns as we expect, Brandon Baker is returning, Connor Robertson returns, then you're really talking about needing two starters at this point. And I think that they've got their hat in the ring on Sprague out of Michigan by way of Kansas City, but also Joe Bruner now. And I think they've got some other guys that they may bring in for visits later this week, depending on what maybe Sprague does. The other name that I would add that not many people are talking about is Cade Uluave. He is the Cal linebacker that entered the portal with a no-contact tag, and I expect him to be on campus sometime later this week. And nobody's talking about him, but he's an all-ACC guy, and so I think that may be the name that I would circle a little bit at a need position with only Anthony Smith really coming back from last year. Maybe you move Brad Spence back to linebacker, but I think linebacker after offensive line probably the team's biggest need right now.
Agreed, Grant. You just look at the depth chart. Look at the roster. Anthony Smith is really the only linebacker coming back with any level of experience. They need to attack that. And that's interesting with Brad Spence because you could make him a stand-up linebacker, but he was really good rushing the passer. So if you could fill the linebacker spot through the portal, you could leave Brad Spence running, behind Colin Simmons and Landon Jackson coming off the edge in pass rush situations. Bobby Burton with us on Texas football. Bobby, one other I wanted to ask you about the LSU defensive tackle, Zion Williams from Lufkin. He also entered the portal with a no-contact tag. Is that one you feel pretty good about for Texas?
Yeah, I do. And he's visiting today. He's expected to visit Texas today. Also expected to visit Texas today is another defensive tackle out of South Florida and the University of Miami, and that's Dante Simpson. Dante is 6'3", 300. Zion Williams is more of an over-the-ball defender. So he's going to be more of a zero tech, and Dante Simpson is more of a 3 technique, so maybe over the guard a little bit, guard tackle in between there. I think that Texas is got in good shape on both. I think that Williams is further along in the decision process, and I think that we could hear something potentially from him later today or tomorrow after he finishes his official visit to Texas.
Bobby Burton with us, and his YouTube show will get going just after 8 o'clock this morning over on YouTube on Texas football with his analysis, Jerry, as well. Hey, Bobby, the Parker Livingston situation, while we have you, can you put some clarity on it? Because I see a lot of differing reports from, and now it's between the Red Rivers, right? It's Texas and Oklahoma. Parker Livingston, you guys have reported he was offered a pretty good amount of money to stay at Texas, and put out on his statement that maybe he was forced out and then lands at Oklahoma. What's, just for the official, your official opinion on this? What is your read on Parker Livingston going north?
Well, I think that there's a lot of it. I mean, this is first of all, Parker and every college athlete right now is a victim of circumstance to a degree because the portal is a madhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to say that for Parker's sake and all of these guys that are making these decisions. I want everybody to understand that. At the same time, the way his agency or parts of the discussion went there was it like blamed Texas for forcing him out when Texas offered him a mid-6-figure deal. And I think that probably was ill-played. At the same time, Parker is a very good player, as we all know. And he went into the portal and he visited both Indiana and Oklahoma. And yesterday he signed with Oklahoma for around the same amount that Texas offered him. And so I think that a little bit of this is Parker thinking that, hey, I want to be a number 2 or 3 receiver at a school. And really right now, Texas couldn't promise him he would be a number 3 receiver next year with Emmett Mosley, possibly Ryan Wingo, and if they can get Cam Coleman. So I think that played a role in Parker's decision. It's going to be weird seeing him in a Sooner uniform, that's for sure. But this is part of the problem with college football right now. And I'll just be blunt. I hate to say it, but there's a major issue with college football right now. Yes, the ratings are up on TV, but that doesn't mean that the things behind the scenes can't be going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, 100%.
And we need the adults in the room need to stand up. And I don't know who that is and how that is, but it's time to not give the NCAA more latitude and more forgiveness. It's time to take control of it, and somebody needs to do it. Yeah. And I don't know who and I don't know how, but kicking the can down the road with the same people over and over has produced these results in the first place. We need to change college football for the better, give the coaches an opportunity to really develop these players, give the players a chance to truly develop and get an education and not transfer every year. There's a guy in the portal now he's going to be in the portal for the 5th time.
Yeah.
No issue with, he's not looking at Texas, but tell me how you get an education if you're going to transfer 5 times in 5 years.
No, you're not.
You just can't.
Yeah,
exactly.
madhouse.
So,
madhouse is a great description. And the coaches have to play in the madhouse. You can't just ignore it.
Right.
You've got to be a part of it, or else you become Dabo Swinney at some level. Same time, it has to have some adjustments, and big-time adjustments in the coming months. But right now, we're in the middle of it. Bobby, thanks so much. I know you got your show to get ready for. We appreciate the quick visit and the updates. And, man, always the best. And Happy New Year.
All right, Happy New Year. You guys take care.
Thanks, Bobby.
Bobby Burton. There you go.